Welcome to another edition of Boxing Info. I'm your host, the Islander, and this is the kind of the catch-up show. Let's just try. I've been very pressed for time. That's why I haven't been able to get these shows up here. Not only that, YouTube takes forever to upload anything or even watch anything anymore. Got a lot to cover. Let me start off by actually backing up to something that has happened a couple of weeks ago. We're going to go back to what what I last previewed and just go over it real quick. But and I'll go through that. Jean Pascal scored a very impressive 10th round stoppage of Silvio Bronco, much like I thought he might or dominate him. And hopefully we could look forward to a fight with him. I think he's got to fight Adrian Diacono in a rematch, but hopefully a fight with Chad Dawson sometime soon. The following night, Vitaly Klitschko basically harpooned Chris Arreola, who I'm happy to say is going to be back December 5th, I believe, on HBO. One-sided fight. Arreola was really never in the fight. Did show immense substance to stay on his feet for the whole 10 rounds. That Klitschko basically battered him. David Diaz scored a 12-round decision over Jesus Chavez in a fight that really proved nothing. And that's about that. Dublin, Ireland, kind of a shock. Bernard Dunn, coming off of his impressive title-winning effort in his previous fight, was blown out in 3 rounds. It was competitive for 2 rounds, but he was cut and then battered to the floor 3 times by Punsawat Kratenjengjem. And the good thing, this is the second time, including when Manshapur lost, that a Thai fighter has come to Europe and disposed of the local favorite. Look for big things from. At least look for him to be in the mix, because Celestine Caballero still owns a real title in that division, the WBA junior featherweight title. All right, moving right along. You guys want me to talk about the Super 6? I did a preview of this, and the Froch-Durrell thing, I didn't really know which way that was going to go. I kind of felt that Durrell might outbox him. Froch might catch Durrell because he's kind of green, and Froch won a very close split decision. I could see the fight going either way, but I thought, and how I watch fights, the guy who's coming forward making the fight is the one I always have usually given the benefit of the doubt to. In this case it was Froch, although it was ugly. The wrestling and the roughhouse tactics, but that's, when you fight a guy who's a speedster and is cute, that's what somebody's got to do to Floyd Mayweather Jr. Exactly what Froch did, except no Joe Cortez in the ring, and that's what Froch did what he had to do, and I, give him kudos. Durrell, nothing to hang his head about. He'll be back in this tournament and move forward. The next piece of business on that day, though, was, did I not tell you, and did I not catch flack from all of Jermaine Taylor's fans? Doesn't belong in the tournament. Never did belong in the tournament. How in the world can anybody think that he's one of the 6th best 168 pounders when now he has been, before this fight, stopped by Carl Froch in a title fight that he was winning, had a ho-hum decision victory over Jeff Lacey, who cracked him off the top of the head and knocked him down. That was called a slip. Lost to Kelly Pavlik. He's basically 1 win and 2 losses in this weight class, and they get him into this tournament. And now he's been knocked the freak out cold by Abraham. And as you all know, and I know, that they're trying to pull him from this tournament. He's going to be pulled from this tournament. Never belonged in it. Can't continue in it. He's been stopped by 2 of the other 5 guys in the tournament. It's over. It's over. I mean, to me, his career at the top level is over. This is what happens when you're fed a steady diet of smaller fighters when you're a middleweight, and your body can't sustain that weight anymore, and you've got to move up. He was never ready to be fighting the competition like Kelly Pavlik, like Abraham, like Felix Sturm, like any of these guys. I mean, and if those of you who are going to say, well, he took Bernard Hopkins twice, listen, everybody knows Bernard Hopkins doesn't fight 3 minutes of every round, and that works just perfect for Taylor. And that's why he was successful in those fights, because Hopkins basically snoozed through the first 7 rounds of both fights, and even in the rounds that he was fighting, he wasn't going balls to the wall for 3 minutes of a round, and that's why Taylor was able to get by in those fights. All right, moving right along. A fantastic candidate for Fight of the Year, Yanni Perez versus Joseph Agbeko. I would have guessed before this fight that Agbeko, coming off of his career-defining win over Vic Darchinyan, would have won this fight rather handily. What I didn't realize was that the physical advantages that Perez had, not so much that he had him over Agbeko, but he had the physical, I guess the physical advantages that Darchinyan didn't, moving up in weight. He's long and lean, and he was able to stay with Agbeko, and it was a tough, grueling fight in which both of them got hit with the heads. I thought Perez won the fight. I would have picked Agbeko before the fight. Fantastic. I want to see them fight again. There's no two ways about it. Moving right along, then there was this past weekend in which a couple of things went down. Chad Dawson easily won a unanimous decision over Glenn Johnson in the rematch. What does this prove? I think Dawson summed it up best, because I wasn't happy with the fight at all, because I really think, and I'm not blaming Dawson for it, he did exactly what he had to do to win the fight, and really, like he said in the post-fight interview, closed this chapter of his career. There's nothing Johnson could have done any better. There's just nothing. He's limited with his size, his age, his style. There's just, Dawson's style is better. He's the cure for Glenn Johnson, and there's nothing different he could have done. I mean, he couldn't have bum rushed him anymore, or this, that. Not that he did it anyway, but you know, the Tarvers and the Johnsons to the back. The time has passed. As HBO was saying, and I'm saying now, I want to see Dawson mixed with Jean Pascal, mixed with Butte if he moves up, whatever it takes. If they're going to put Butte or Dawson or whoever into that 168-pound tournament, then fine with it. I know Dawson wants to fight Hopkins. Listen, it probably ain't going to happen, because he's too big of a risk, too little of a reward, and you know, he's not a big draw. It's not like they can sell out, you know, that arena in Newark that Thomas Adamek sells out. So I mean, he needs to start unifying belts and start racking up defenses, like I had told one of you guys either in an email or channel comments. But a very good win for Haye, and you know, don't blame him if it was lackluster. I mean, I think he knew he couldn't get Johnson out of there, and he made it as entertaining, I guess, as it could be with their two styles. David Haye. Okay, what did this prove? I would have probably picked this result to happen. Valuev's not a real, legitimate heavyweight threat. When you know, are waltzing with John Ruiz and waltzing with Chigayev, I mean, this is like the minor leagues of the heavyweight division, and the Klitschko's are the major leagues. And what did this prove for Haye? That he could stay out of trouble against a real big 7-foot heavyweight? Big whoop. That he could outspeed somebody bigger? Big whoop. The thing is that the Klitschko's, their reflexes, their skills, their determination, and just their pedigree is here, when Valuev is way down there. There's a huge difference, and I know why Haye did this. Haye did this to try to get negotiating power, because he's got a worthless belt that belongs to Evander Holyfield. He's got a worthless belt, is what it is, and it really belongs to Evander Holyfield, because he didn't do anything different than Evander Holyfield did, because Evander Holyfield outfought Valuev last December. So he thinks this is going to be negotiating power for going against the Klitschko's. Maybe it will. All the power to him. My guess is he's getting knocked out. What did the British say? Sparked out is what he's getting when he goes in the ring with either one of those two guys, because they don't play, and Valuev is not a real world-class boxer. That's all I'm going to say about that. Next up, there's this debacle with Kelly Pavlik in his hand, and I'm one of the ones that came to the defense when I mean, staph infections kill people, you know, folks, for those of you who don't know. But what I'm finding out is, you know, they tried to put this fight back to December 5th. They said he still wouldn't be ready by December 5th. And lo and behold, some news this past week. Williams said he wasn't going to wait on Pavlik, his people, the Goosens. I don't blame you. They made a fight with Sergio Martinez. They are going to be fighting at the 160-pound weight limit. To me, this is an interesting fight, but all signs are pointing that it's going to be a one-sided demolition derby. There is no way Martinez is going to stay with Williams. And I know what a lot of you are going to say, well, Quintana beat him. Listen, Williams beat himself, and Martinez, I think, is being hyped by HBO, and this is not going to be pretty. Williams all the way in this fight when it happens. Pavlik has come out in the last couple of days, and his people are saying they're going to be fighting in Youngstown 2 weeks later. Miracle recovery from the staph infection. They say he still can't close his right hand, but he'll be ready by then. Against somebody named Espino, he's going to defend the titles against. Unbelievable. Now, I want to thank all of you who directed me to this interview, in which R.A. the Rugged Man, from my neck of the woods, Long Island, got on the radio as he was promoting his album. He's an underground rapper, for the one or two of you that don't know, including myself, before this happened. Got on the radio when Floyd Mayweather called in. And as you all know, he just blindsided Mayweather. What's the take from this? A, Mayweather is a freaking liar. B, he don't care whether we talk bad about him or not, as long as he's got money to throw away like a fool. That's all this guy cares about. An undefeated record. The best part of that interview was they're arguing back and forth, and Mayweather says, you know, they're talking about the 5 losses, this and that. Nobody's beaten him, he's undefeated. And R.A. Rugged Man says, Archie Moore had over 200 wins and 135 knockouts. You've got 36 fights, which is more, it's more than that. It's like bordering on 40 now. And Mayweather says, I don't got to go through that. He goes, I'm undefeated, and this and that. And R.A. Rugged Man says, well, Ricardo Lopez retired undefeated. Is he one of the greatest fighters of all time? And Mayweather says, well, yeah, he is. He's one of the best. The mind is just distorted. When you have so many yes men around you like he does, you believe the bull. You believe the lies. I mean, like, he's got himself believing that he never has to fight Cotto, he never has to fight Pacquiao, he never has to fight Margarito, he never has to fight Mosley, he never has to fight Berto, he never has to fight anybody. He's got himself believing that. He thinks that he's Sugar Ray Leonard, he thinks that he's Oscar De La Hoya, he thinks he's better than everybody, and that he can handpick. Here's the thing. I'm still in disbelief, and I think they're fudging the numbers that him and Marquez did 1 million buys. If they did, great. All the power to you. You're the cash king. Never mind that you can't sell 400,000 against, you know, Arturo Gatti, and against who's got a, you know, sells a huge live gate, and against Carlos Baldemir, who's nobody, and against Zab Judah, who's got a huge following in New York. Never mind that, but against this Mexican on Mexican Independence Day weekend, you sold 1 million. It was all you, Floyd. It was all you. And and the best thing about it is, who the hell's going to go buy his stuff? I mean, he sells to the mainstream, and the follow-up on that interview was, I've steered people who aren't even boxing fans to that interview, and told them, they're like, 20 minutes? I'm like, no, listen, 50 seconds and he comes on, just listen to it, it'll sell itself. And they were like, just, everybody was just eating that up, yucking it up, because they know what a shyster he is, and that's what he is. He's a shyster. And going forward with this, though, and what I was thinking about Mayweather is that the walls are closing in on him. My second favorite part was when R.A. Rugged Man said Paul Williams will spank your ass, and there's no response from Mayweather. Not that, you know, he fights for Goose and I can't do business with him. Nothing. He didn't hear that. It's just an incredible interview, and the follow-up on, I think it was FightHype.com, where somebody interviewed R.A. after the interview, is basically, he was saying, you know, we, the people who watch this show, myself, himself, we're not the mainstream. We are inside boxing. We are the hardcore fans. Mayweather caters to the mainstream. Those are the people who are riding his rod on my comments, that they come out of nowhere and start just blabbing, blah, 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 blah. You know, go watch Dancing with the Stars, please. Leave boxing to R.A., to me, to you know, Pound for Pound, to Guard Your Grill, to all those guys. Go stay with Dancing with the Stars, because that's who Floyd caters to. Those people that watch that, celebrity worshippers. And this excuse about, you know, justifying him fighting Marquez, he can sell that to them. He can't sell it to me. He can't sell it to R.A. He can't sell it to you. You're too smart. And that's what I love the most about this interview, is that he got away with none of his garbage. I mean, none of his garbage. I'm sure he'll be careful the next time he goes on and any type of show, because he did not sound like it. What the heck is it? It's in your blood. It's in your blood. He drops the race card. First he says he doesn't know who RA is. Then he drops the race card when he obviously knew that RA was white. I mean, his name is no longer Pretty Boy. It's no longer Floyd Money Mayweather. The Islander has nicknamed him Floyd the fucking Liar Mayweather. That's his name. Remember there was a movie with Robin Williams called Jacob the Liar. Floyd the Liar Mayweather. That's it. You get Don King or somebody promoting him. Yeah, I got Floyd the Liar Mayweather. And anyway, he's delirious. He's living in his own world. All right. Bigger, better, way better business than that. This coming weekend. Get out your wallets. Get out your money. This is HBO pay-per-view that doesn't have anything to do with Oscar De La Hoya or Golden Boy Promotions. Manny Pacquiao will be taking on Pacquiao-Cotto, and some of you have written 7 different titles in 7 different divisions. Listen, cut right through all that crap. Here's the deal. Legitimate title at flyweight. Legitimate title at featherweight. A legitimate belt, let's say, at lightweight. This is for a legitimate belt at welterweight, even though Shane Mosley kind of holds the cards in this division. This is a legitimate belt. This is for the 4th of the original 8 weight classes. This is Henry Armstrong territory, folks. This is what we're looking at. 24/7, although when they do certain other lead-ups, like with either De La Hoya or Mayweather, I kind of just like, can it be any more cheesier? But for some reason they're doing a pretty good job. And I know a lot of you don't like the Brian angle or the Boo Boy angle or this and that, but I think that even the discourse in Pacquiao's camp means absolutely nothing. I mean, he's oblivious to all that kind of stuff. It means nothing. But to get to know how things are working around each guy, I think they're doing a pretty good job this time. And I also think that, you know, like RA said, we don't know who's going to win this fight. I hear them make a prediction, and I'm reluctant to do it because I really have the greatest respect for both of them. And I was even getting nervous watching it. One of the most nervous or critical comments made in the 3 episodes of that show so far was by Joe Santiago through the interpreter when they were talking about Freddie Roach kind of saying he was green and this and that. I mean, it's all true. But the situation is this. I don't know whether I like this comment or I don't like this comment. And he was saying that, you know, Freddie's not going to be fighting, it's going to be Pacquiao. And that he's going to be hit like he's never been hit before. I don't like that for 2 reasons. I mean, it's good, but I don't like it for 2 reasons. For Cotto, that mindset is the same mindset that David Diaz had, the same mindset that Oscar De La Hoya had, and it was definitely the mindset that Ricky Hatton had. Not good. For Cotto, you know, I like his take on it, that they're going to be ready for anything that Pacquiao does. I highly doubt it, but at least it looks like he's in very good shape. For Pacquiao, you know, he's one of the best athletes in the sport, one of the best athletes in the world, and the most dynamic fighter, boxer in the world. I don't care what Floyd Mayweather says, he takes a second seat in the action category. My prediction and the way I see this fight going, you know, every time I say that this fight's going to be one of his tougher ones for Pacquiao, they get shorter and shorter and more one-sided than the one before. I would expect, under normal circumstances, that Cotto is smart enough, has enough amateur pedigree, enough professional experience, and he's kind of in the prime of his career, would be able to not get himself into a serious, dangerous situation like Ricky Hatton did early on, or be dominated like Oscar De La Hoya and David Diaz. You never know, because we don't know how he's going to be able to deal with the speed. One thing going in Cotto's favor is that he's used to fighting bigger guys who are punching down on him like Claudia and Margarito. They are nowhere near as fast as Pacquiao. he's going to get hit more than he did against any of those guys. And the problem I see in this fight is that despite what anybody believes, his face breaks down, whether he's fighting Zab Judah, whether he's fighting Mosley, whether he's fighting, I mean, he bleeds. Pacquiao, I think that his feet are going to carry him through whatever danger he sees, unless he gets hurt to the body real bad that, you know, you never know. But I see Pacquiao winning this fight, maybe not by a landslide, but by a comfortable margin to a squeak if it goes the distance. I'm thinking more along the lines of like a corner stoppage somewhere in the middle of the fight is what I'm thinking. Either that or cuts or just a mercy stoppage like with Margarita. That's the image I have in my head, that I'm going with Pacquiao, but not by, you know, a landslide. I respect both guys too much, and I'm really, you know, I wonder if this was a good fight for Cotto to take, because a stoppage loss in this fight after looking shaky against Clottey doesn't leave him that great of many options in the future. Pacquiao, if he loses this fight, even if he lost by some miracle, lost by a first round knockout, you know, it was a risk. He moved up in weight. He goes back to 140, 135, and there's tons of fights waiting for him. Not so much the same for Cotto, but I think it's going to be a really good fight. It's going to be one that's worth buying. I could see it going either way, but until something drastic happens that Cotto does to Pacquiao, I don't see too many people, with the exception of Mosley, maybe Margarito, Paul Williams, you know, really being able to do some damage to Pacquiao. But then again, and I'll leave this note with you too, as we wrap this up, and we're going way over time. It's going to take forever to upload this video. And that is, think about this really hard. When Cotto fought Margarito, and don't write any comments about his hands being encased in cement or anything stupid like that, because the second you write something like that, you get blocked. It's that simple. When they fought, even though Cotto lost that fight, and it looked like he was taking a one-way beating at the end, people don't realize the amount of damage he inflicted on Margarito. The amount of damage he inflicted on him. Now, Margarito doesn't play defense even anywhere near what Pacquiao does. Margarito was attacking Cotto, and I don't think that that's going to be a scenario you see to start out the fight, just like with Hatton and Pacquiao. Hatton was the one who came forward. Look for a little bit of a seesaw battle at first, kind of like this. I'm expecting this fight to look a lot like Cotto's fight with Zab Judah. The only thing is, I expect Pacquiao to do real lasting damage to Cotto, and maybe vice versa. But the beginning stages of the fight, like the first 5 or 6 rounds, that's what I'm expecting. It's going to be interesting, and I really look forward to this. I will try to be back with the wrap up on this. Take care, everybody.